Hey Pisces, welcome to Wild Pearl Tarot. Today we're going to be doing your September tarot and oracle reading for 2024. If you guys never been to my channel before, thank you so much for giving it a chance. I want to make every second count. We only take the cards that fly out on their own. I remove my own ego by just letting the tarot talk to you and oracle. If they fly out in reverse for tarot, that's how we read them. And I'm just the interpreter. If you'd like for me to pray for you, send you my good juju, that's something I love to do. That's part of my spiritual practice. Simply say hi in the comments section. And that way I've got something that represents you and your energy that I can focus on. We've got one card out so far from the Angels of Abundance deck. And now we're going to be asking from the Divine Feather Messenger deck for Pisces what they need to know for September. So you guys only take what resonates, what empowers you. Don't give your power away to tarot. If you don't like it, shoot. Even if it does resonate, but you don't like it, throw it out. It's up to you. This is just to empower you. Detox from your friendships. Your abundance flow is being affected by the people with whom you're spending time. So be discerning about your associations and relationships. Choose to be with people who are inspiring, generous, and supportive. And from that well of energy that we're so influenced as Pisces, it's almost like our well, right? And so from that well, we dip down and we nurture from that place. We give that water to other people. So when that well is poisoned, what are we able to give to people, right? It's like breathing for Pisces to be able to nurture, but they have to have a safe environment to be able to nurture, right? Otherwise, they're being used, or otherwise it's a toxic exchange, fill in the blanks. Your second message is the message of the hawk. Pay attention. A powerful message is being communicated to you now. Could be this one, could be others. All right, so Pisces, September 2024. This will be very interesting. My Pisces need to know what's going to empower them. September 2024. For my Pisces, what's going to empower them? Only taking what resonates. We have the Death card. Not a bad card, and I'll tell you why. And the Ten of Wands. Something is ending. The thing that is ending has been exhausting. I say that because the Ten of Wands it depicts it, where this man holding these sticks and he's bent over, and what you can't see very well is that there's this castle in the background. He's almost there. He's almost at the finish line. But this is a natural ending, and the reason I say that is Death card is actually a good card. It's like a season changing. It's like the leaves falling off of the trees so that new blossoms, new leaves can come through. It's simply a time. It's an era that has come to an end. And in place of these old obligations, old responsibilities, are going to take on new relationships and new responsibilities, things that flourish and are blossoming, popping with energy and light and color, right? Tell me more. I'm going to empower my Pisces, make sure they're all upright. They fly in reverse. We read them that way. For September 2024, to empower my Pisces, what they need to know. So far, just to recap, it's really important that you know an era is ending. That era was taking your energy, and what you're going to find is that it'll leave space and room for new things to come in. And that does coincide with the meaning, the natural meaning of the Death card. These things are moving out of the way so that new things can replace them. And now we have the Three of Pentacles upside down. And we have the King of Swords. You're going to be taking on the role, a very powerful role in September that you've always been able to do. This is not what your comfort zone always is, but you know how to do it. And it's removing the fluffy stuff, and it's going straight into the black and white of a situation, looking at truth, boundaries. This is a time to, it's the King of Swords energy, right? So it's really looking at the reality of things. It's a smart leadership card. It's a no BS card, if I can just put it that simply. Now, what is that around, right? seems to be around collaboration, getting support that you can trust, that is sufficient, that is actually supporting you. Let's unpack that card and find out a little bit more. There may be somebody from your support team, whether that's a coworker or a fellow, like an entrepreneur, some type of support that is not getting your back, you know. And I have a feeling a lot of you guys already know what I'm talking about. It hasn't been serving you well. And maybe in this collaboration, your emotional, intuitive, compassionate side has been disregarded or taken for granted. It's caused you anxiety. Maybe your first reaction has been anxiety, because of course it is. Like, of course it feels awful to have one of your strengths regarded as a weakness. But then comes the Four of Swords. So we've got the Nine of Swords. Yes, there might be overanalyzing. And this often happens when Pisces has first felt it, and then the King of Swords comes in with rationalizing and understanding it and looking at it up here. So usually, not always, you know, everybody's chart is different too. You may have a lot of air in your chart or something, but usually Pisces feels it. Something feels off. Their spidey sense goes, and then they stay up at night. They lose sleep sometimes, or they just I don't want to say overanalyze, they analyze. The wheels start turning on all fronts. So it's up here, it's in here, it's your intuition. And now you go into the Four of Swords. This is Jedi warrior mode, okay? This is also able to take in gratitude. Take a look at everything, okay? What you appreciate, what you don't want to change, what needs to change, what is off, what needs a little bit of tweaking, okay? The Four of Swords brings in the wisdom. So we might have the initial reaction, something's off about this collaboration, something's not supporting me the way I want. And now you become very sharp indeed. And I love that there was a card that flipped out in the deck upside down. And I only take those as footnotes, you know, but I was going and getting these cards for you. And it just so happens that the card has made an appearance as sitting on top of the deck. And what is this card? It's the Eight of Pentacles. So it really wants me to listen to this. Eight of Pentacles is a theme that's interlacing through all this. This is how you spend your work time, what you're working on, what you're focusing on, what you're trying to build. And I'm going to take that card. Okay, so I can tell you right now that we're going to do an extended. In case it helps you, the link will be below in the description box below. It's about the price of a cup of coffee. But I want to give you enough today so that if you decide you don't want to spend that money and you don't want to see the extended, this helps you. That fills your arsenal, right? So now let's talk about the King of Swords, because I feel like this is an empowering place that you step into in September, and it's leading to abundance, right? Because remember that the first two cards out were, hey, change is happening, end of an era. And while it was maybe so well-intentioned, maybe there's a lot of integrity attached to this Ten of Wands. Ten of Wands is reaching the end of something that's been exhausting. So it's time for it to change, right? And the King of Swords is the role that I feel you step into. Tell me more about this King of Swords for my Pisces. September 2024, Page of Wands, love it. King of Cups. You got the heart and you got the mind going here. So remember when I mentioned to you, it doesn't feel good when sometimes a strength is disregarded as a weakness. In this case, it might have felt in this collaboration that what was taken for granted or taken advantage was your softer side, your compassion or your nurturing, your emotional side. I'll tell you what, you have the power of not only the King of Swords who steps in and says, oh, let's play ball. But also, that strength, that is going to serve you well. That compassion, that intuition, that emotional wisdom, that comes to help you in a specific area. Any kind, if there are any kind of surprises while you're negotiating this all out, while you're working it all out, that might take you from the left or just come out of nowhere on the right. You know, these would normally maybe disappoint you or something, but you have that superpower that you know it's all working in conjunction to opening up your life to very new possibilities that you wouldn't otherwise consider. So your superpower of intuition and emotional wisdom is going to come into play. It's all working underneath the surface of the King of Swords. On the outside, you look like a battle-worn, battle-torn, experienced, strong-minded, ethical, and fair, clever king, right? Underneath, sure, there could be waves, there could be white caps, you know? But you know it's working towards something. It's important in September that you know not to rush things necessarily, to fall back on the wisdom of the King of Swords, to analyze everything, to look at things unemotionally, just because you do have that muscle. You do have that muscle. And you can separate, almost draw a line down the middle of what makes you feel emotional, what makes you feel those white caps, you know? And then what is the information at hand. From that place, you may realize you're not ready to leap yet. September is a time for analyzing a situation, and I love that it's taking you here. Like we said, this is all the catalyst for a change that you wouldn't normally orchestrate on your own. And you know it as well as I do. But it helps to hear it, right? So while you're not ready to leap just yet on some of these things passing through, some thoughts and ideas are meant to just rattle on through like an old train. And some, they stop for the night. Some, they stop and they park, and that's where they're going to be. Those are the decisions you act on, right? But sometimes it's just important to let those thoughts and those decisions rattle on through like old trains. It's the act of opening your mind, right? So I know I'm overcomplicating this a little bit and really going heavy on the metaphors, but I'm almost saying step back and witness your own experience of this. That's going to make you the most powerful in the month of September. All right, so I'm going to wrap this up with one last card from another deck, and then we're going to move on to the extended. If you'd like to follow me there, cool. And I'm going to jump into advice with, of course, the disclaimer that you have free will and all that. But if you don't come with me, I want this to be really useful. So I'd like to talk about that death card and what's next. And this open-minded card of the Page of Wands, which is a lot of enthusiasm. And this Nine of Cups, what's next around the corner in a really positive light for my Pisces. We have clarity. Not only clarity on how you want to move forward for a while, a better way to do it, but also truth. There's truth attached to the Ace of Swords, major truth. And what is the truth about? It's around your stability, something worth celebrating over. This is awesome. Sometimes this is directly talking about celebrations, and it's a very positive card. But, you know, it's a 4. So 4s talk about our foundations and our sense of stability and what we're building towards. And it's a very peaceful card. So anyway, I adore you. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you liked and you subscribed, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.